channel, Thinking Like a Virtuous Woman, where I inspire women to think like the woman in Proverbs 31, spiritually, financially, and also relationally. So, by the title, you already know that today I'm going to be talking about heartbreak. So, this is something that is maybe hard to talk about for some people, but I did a video a while back. It was titled 5 Ways to Get Past the Heartbreak, or 5 Ways to Get Over a Broken Heart. But I'll link it below and I'll leave it up here somewhere so you can check that out if you are somebody who has recently gotten over a heartbreak. And I may actually do a updated video from that, because I think it was a couple years ago that I did that video. However, it still applies today. So I just want to talk about heartbreak for a minute, and I want to talk about the biggest heartbreak that I've ever had and why I'm so thankful for it. I know that may sound strange to some people, especially if you are recently out of a situation where you got your heart broke. Maybe you are just recently getting over a breakup. I was there some years ago, and I know what it's like to be in that place. I know what it's like to feel like I'm not going to get through this. I know what it's like to just be so hurt and devastated because you know, you thought that you would be with this person forever, or you thought that this person loved you and could never hurt you, right? And so I can relate to that. I also can relate to getting over heartbreak. I can relate to being able to laugh at it and look back and wonder, what in the world was I thinking? You know, so today I just want to share with you why that heartbreak was actually one of the best things that ever happened to me. And when I say that heartbreak, not that I've only had my heart broken once, because I've had, you know, different situations in which, oh, things didn't work out with somebody that I thought it would, and, you know, and things like that, different situations. But this heartbreak was different. This was the worst, right? This was the one that I thought that I was going to be with this person. Like, I thought we would eventually get married. It's funny now that I think about it, because I'm going to share with you what happened with that situation. And that's why it's so funny to me now, because I shouldn't have been in that situation as long as I was, but it ultimately led me to who I am today. And so that's what I wanted to share with you today. It was back in 2014. It was the first time I decided I was going to be abstinent. And that's a whole nother journey, a whole nother video that I've made, a whole nother topic that I've made videos about. I'll link those as well. But you can find them on my channel. But I had just decided 2014, I'm like, I'm gonna be abstinent, right? So it was about 3 months in, I met this gentleman. He was a musician at a church that I was going to, and we hit it off pretty quickly. We got close really quickly. He was just very, you know, I was attracted to him. He was funny, you know, and things like that. And so we began getting close. I eventually that abstinence journey that I started, I got off that journey. I fell right back into, you know, sex. And so we started sleeping together, and he had been engaged about a year prior to us meeting. And I remember one day I asked him, was he over that situation? And he told me that he was. So I left it alone. So fast forward, we're dating, we're sleeping together, and he finds out that that ex-fiance of his was getting married. And this should have been my red flag. This should have been my ticket out of that situationship. He was so hurt when he found out she was getting married. Like, he cried, like he was listening to sad music. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, let me take my mind off of him. I'm going to, you know, sex him good. I'm going to cook for him. I'm going to take his mind off her. So long story short, that didn't happen. So almost a year, literally 10 months. And at this point, this was the longest that I had been dating anybody without any breaks, right? I had been engaged years ago. We were together for like 2 years, but we were off and on in those 2 years. 10 months, that was the longest that I had ever consistently dated anybody, right? And so I loved him. In my mind, I'm in love. I love him. So long story short, that ex that he had been so heartbroken about getting engaged, I guess that engagement fell through, something happened, and they broke up. So when that ex came back into his life, it was like I did not exist. I mean, he just literally disappeared on me, like didn't give me any explanation. Like, I had to show up to where he was for him to give me an explanation. But that's a whole nother story. It's in my book, Pain, Promiscuity, Purpose, from Mess to Ministry. That's my book. I'll leave that link down below as well if anybody want to check it out. But I don't want to get too deep into detail about that. It's in the book. But long story short, I was so hurt by that situation because I had spent so much time with him. Like, I literally felt like I loved this man. Like, I thought that I was going to marry him. We spent so much time together. If he wasn't at my house, a lot of times I was at his house. He lived with a family member and we would be there, you know, watching a game and stuff like that. We went to the store together, Walmart and things like that. And I was so heartbroken, y'all. Like, I couldn't even barely go to Walmart without getting sad after that situation. But what that situation made me do, now this is the good part, this is where I'm getting, this is what I mean by that was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because once I started to come out of that situation, I'll be honest, it took me like a few months to really be okay again after that situation. Because like I said, I was used to being with him. We spent so much time together. But once I started coming out of it, I started to ask myself, how in the world did I end up here? I was thinking, like, so many times I saw so many red flags. There were so many things that happened in that relationship that showed me that he did not love me. There were so many things that happened that showed me I was in the wrong relationship. And one thing that I hadn't really thought about, that I actually forgot about until now that I'm speaking at, is just how toxic we were. It was a lot of drama that came with him that I accepted, a lot of just things that I won't get into detail about right now. But I mean, it was so much arguing. I mean, I was toxic too, don't get me wrong, because we got into it so bad one time. It was some drama. He had some clothes at my house. I cut the clothes up that he had here and sent him a picture of the clothes, and he went off. He got mad. But I mean, we got back together after that. It was just so toxic. So, you know, asking myself, like, why in the world am I in this situation? Why am I letting this person just take me there? Why am I accepting all of this drama? Even the situation with him finding out his ex was getting married. Like, why would I think that I was going to sex this man so good that it was going to take his mind off of her? Like, what made me think that that was enough? What made my self-esteem so low that I was willing to be with a man who who clearly loved another woman? And so that's what started my journey into looking at my past. Like, I literally had to figure out what happened to me that made me okay with what I was getting. And so I just realized a lot of things about myself. I started a blog. I started blogging about my feelings, and I started, you know, just writing to other women, like, this is what happened to me. Don't let the same thing happen to you. Like, I started doing videos, and I started my book, Pain, Promiscuity, Purpose. I didn't publish it until 2017, but started kind of like the blueprint of it in 2015, kind of picked it up, put it back down. But that situation ultimately propelled me into the woman that you see sitting here today, because, like I said, it made me go on a journey. Like, I went all the way back to childhood when I was on that journey for those couple of years, just finding who I was. Like, I've realized that I didn't know that I was worth more than what he was giving me. You know, they say know your worth, and I get that. I started to understand that, like, know that you are worth more than what he's giving you right now. I started to realize that I had a lot of things I needed to heal from that made me accept that. Like, I went on a healing journey. Forgiveness came along with that, me forgiving my offenders, people who had done me wrong, family members, and even him. Like, I hold no negative feeling toward him. I actually thank God. I thank God for that situation now. And so that's why I wanted to share that, because sometimes we go through things and we want to know, why is this happening to me? It hurts so bad. But I can literally sit here and say that that was for my good. You know, we love to quote Romans 8:20, that everything works together for good, right? But then when it's time to apply it, we don't, you know, we get discouraged, right? But I'm just here to say, you know, if you are going through a breakup, and one of the things that I left in that video that I mentioned earlier that I did a while back, getting over heartbreak, one of the things that I did talk about was finding the good in the breakup. So the good that I found in that breakup was that it made me realize that I had so many things inside of me It made me, I found my purpose after that. And so if you are somebody who recently went through a breakup, like look for the good in the situation. Like find out, what did this situation teach you? What did it teach you about yourself? Most of all, like what did you learn about you? Like, were you in a situation like me that you had no business in? Like, did you realize that, wow, I was accepting this all this time? Why did I accept this? So I encourage you to just pray about the situation that you find that you may be in right now. Go to God about it. That's what I did. I went to God. Like I literally, I mean, I gave it over to God. I was so hurt, and God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. So he wants you to bring that stuff to him anyway. He cares about everything, right? He tells us to acknowledge him in all our ways and to pray about everything. So he cares about that. Take it to him and let him reveal to you the purpose in it. Let him reveal to you your purpose and life, his purpose for you, right? And I can tell you that one day, and I know they always say this, but this is real. One day you're going to look back and you're going to be thankful for that situation. So if you can relate to me and you have had a situation where you have been in, you had your heart broken or went through a breakup and you realized that it was for your good, please leave that down below. Let's encourage those people who are going through it right now. Please leave your thoughts on this. If you have any questions, you can leave them down below. You can email me if you have any questions, prayer requests, or video suggestions. I'll leave my email down below in the description box. So I hope that this video was helpful to you. And I just thank you so much for visiting my channel. I thank you so much. Be blessed.